Hey there everyone, Paler here, and welcome back. Today I want to spend some time talking about Overwatch in prep for the open beta coming up next week. So for those of you that don't know, Overwatch starting next on May 3rd, it'll go into open beta for those that have pre-ordered. For those that haven't pre-ordered, they'll be able to get into the open beta on the 5th, and it runs till either the 7th or the 9th. So you have a few days to play Overwatch. Now, full disclosure here, I'm really hyped about this game. I'm trying to be very objective about it, but I might be more interested in this game than I was in Dark Souls 3. It's pretty crazy, so just keep that in mind. I might have a little bit of blinders on. Anyway, what I want to talk about here today was I was lucky enough that after 6 months of trying to whore myself out to get an account, almost 3 weekends ago, I got into one of the stress tests. So it was a 48-hour stress test. We started Friday, went through Saturday night, where we got in. So I managed to, in that 48-hour window, I played about 10 hours of Overwatch. I really liked it. I came out of it though, and while I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert, I don't know the ins and outs of it. I saw 3 maps. They only had 3 maps open. They did have all the heroes in though. But in that time, I did come away with a few notable thoughts that I wanted to share because I think they're going to be good for people going into the beta next week that have not played it. As well, I think they've done a great job of advertising, trying to generate hype for this game. I don't think they've done a very good job of explaining what this game is and who it's going to appeal to. And since it's not free to play like Heroes of the Storm or Hearthstone, I wanted to put out some opinions, let you know if you're interested in this is what you might want to expect. If you're not interested in it, well, maybe you should be if you like what I'm about to say. Alright, so with that out of the way, where do we want to begin with? I'm going to start off with, I had 2 big takeaways, and then I'm going to ramble at the end towards some of the experiences I had with the overall game. The first of the 2 big takeaways, though, that I want to recommend to people for going in is, first and foremost, this is an arena shooter at heart. This is much more like Unreal Tournament or Quake than it is anything else out there, really. This is not a first-person Smite. This is not a MOBA. There is a small section of this that is a bit like a MOBA, and I'll try and remember to talk about this later on in the video, but this is an arena shooter. Now, unlike most arena shooters, you're not picking up weapons or power-ups. It's dependent on your class, but the running, the gunning, the jumping, the headshots and all that is much more like Unreal Tournament than pretty much any other game you're going to expect. It's far more fast-paced. Well, I don't want to say far more, but it is noticeably quicker than even on Team Fortress 2, in my opinion. What does this mean? Well, if you're someone that's not interested in shooters at all, this is not going to win you over. Like, maybe you're a MOBA fan, but you just really don't like shooters. You just don't feel you can play them. This is a shooter. You're not going to all of a sudden decide, oh, it's Blizzard, I like it. No, you're probably going to be pretty disappointed in it. What it does do, however, though, is if you're someone that likes the concept of the shooter, you liked the faster pace, but maybe you're like me, you're getting older, and your reflex skills just aren't quite what they used to be, and maybe you're just not good enough at them, you don't feel strong enough in an arena shooter to play a competitive version of it, well, this is where Overwatch actually does do a very good job. Whereas Unreal Tournament, if you're a bad shot, you're going to be in trouble. Overwatch has some interesting mechanics within some of its heroes that can be very forgiving for those people that aren't quite as good at Twitch-based shooters. Some of the classes are fairly forgiving when it comes to aiming and accuracy. I mean, first of all, you have your 2.5 turret people. By 2.5, I mean you have Torbjorn, who creates a turret. You also have Symmetra, who can put up to 6 small little turrets around the map for ambushing people. And then you have Bastion, who can turn into a turret. Bastion's kind of the 0.5 because you actually have to aim it, but since it's a minigun, there's not a whole lot of aiming. It's kind of aiming a minigun. You just spray in a general direction. But Torbjorn, if you know what you're doing with him, and it's more of a mental strategy with him than anything else, you find a good location where you can funnel enemies and they're unable to really snipe your turret and everything, and you get your turret down there and built up, that turret can decimate people. I mean, it'll take a focused effort of several people using cooldowns, either shields with Reinhardt or something, to take out your turret, because if it can see something within 40 yards, it's likely going to out-DPS it. Its turret is very strong. Symmetra, her turrets, while each individual turret isn't very strong, you put 4 of them in a room at a weird angle, people come running into there, the turrets are just going to eat them alive. The turrets are also very strong. So they're very forgiving characters. There's also certain characters that, while aren't turret-based, have forgiving aim mechanics. Like I was talking about Reinhardt just briefly. So Reinhardt is the very tall, like 8-foot robot that brings up the big shield wall and has a massive hammer. His hammer has basically a full field of view swing on it. So if you can see an enemy and he's within range of you, in plus or minus, walking distance, you can swing this and hit them. So you don't have to worry about aiming too overly accurate because it's a big horizontal swing in like a 180, maybe not 180, but 160 degree arc. So he's very, very easy to hit. As long as you can close that distance with an enemy, swing that hammer, you can hit them with it. You don't need to be overly accurate with your aim. So as long as you can toggle your shield up, eat up some shots, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, smack him with the hammer. You also have a charge. Reinhardt can be very good for people that like the concept of the arena shooter, but have just never felt very good at it. Then you have some that are kind of like in the middle, where I wouldn't say they're easy, but they're definitely more forgiving than most shooters. You have like Farah, who is the one in the blue armor that can rocket up into the air and has a rocket launcher. Rocket launcher has a pretty good AoE explosive range. You put a rocket in the ground near an enemy you're up in the sky, shooting down, and you land a rocket within 3 or 4 feet of them. While they're not going to take a huge amount of damage, they are going to take enough damage to upset them. 3 or 4 rockets in an AoE range, they're going to die. You have Junkrat, who is launching grenades in, so you can just lob grenades into an area. You don't even have to be able to see what you're shooting at, just lob grenades. There's enemies somewhere down there, shoot grenades, and you'll be surprised you're going to get quite a few kills doing that. Soldier 76, he's kind of forgiving, where he wants a little more accuracy. He does fire enough bullets that you can kind of just spray and pray and hit. Bastion, you can kind of spray and pray and hit, and that type of thing. Hopefully that explains what I mean. So you can go in with less skill than you would normally expect, find some classes, and still do very well at it. Not just do well, you can carry your team. So this is another thing. There have been other games out there that have had the easy class, but normally the easy class has some type of handicap. I did not find that to be the case with Overwatch. A well-played Reinhardt can carry a team to victory. If you get like on the game mode with the payload, it's called payload is the game mode, and it's very reminiscent of Team Fortress 2. Essentially, there's a cart, and if you're on the attacking team, you get close to the cart. It'll move forward at a decent clip as long as somebody on your team is close to the cart. If no one's near the cart sits still. If someone from the enemy team, the defenders, is on the cart, it will slowly move backwards, right? Well, a well-played Reinhardt can get right in front of that cart and just sit there with his shield up, and as soon as anybody runs in, he just smacks him with his hammer, and if your team is supporting you correctly, you can win very, very easily if the other team doesn't counter your Reinhardt. So these classes, played well, can be very strong for a team. A good Torbjorn that knows where to put his turrets, can keep them up, can be so infuriatingly annoying, played well. With that said, though, that's going to segue into the second part. This is going to be the biggest thing that I think is going to be a huge concern for, not concern, it's going to be a huge pet peeve that a lot of people are going to run into next week. A lot of people are going to go in having watched the trailers, seen the footage, and they're going to have their favorite hero that they want to play. For a lot of people, it's probably going to be Tracer, because she's the one with all the personality. She's very charismatic that they've put out in front and everything. Some people are going to want Reaper, blah, 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 doesn't really matter. While it's perfectly fine to go in wanting to play these characters, the way Overwatch is balanced is rock, paper, scissors, hand grenade, nuclear missile, thermal shield, everything. What I'm saying here, though, is there's hard counters for basically every single character. I would say for every single character. In 10 hours, I haven't learned all of them yet, but I'm sure they're out there for everything. And what's going to happen, though, you're going to go in, you're going to want to play Tracer, and you're going to be running around with Tracer, and you're going to run into a Mei. And a Mei's just going to wreck your face. You're going to come around, you're going to be blinking around, shooting your guns like, wee, 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 and then Mei's going to freeze you in place. And you're going to die instantly because you have no HP for taking that. And you're going to be like, what the hell, Mei's OP. You're going to be on the forums complaining Mei's OP. Well, it's not that Mei's OP. It's that Mei hard counters Tracer. Mei hard counters quite a few of those fast little close quarter fighters. She can hard counter Reaper if she catches them off guard. Quite a bit of that. But Mei, on the other hand, doesn't have any real ranged threat to her. She can't doesn't do. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. If you're at range of Mei, you don't have any real. She's no threat to you. She does have a fairly powerful alt-click ability, which fires her projectile fairly far, and it hurts quite a bit. But it's pretty darn hard to hit with, and it's definitely not going to out DPS any of the medium-range characters. So while Mei is super strong against those quick close quarters characters, she's very weak against people like Soldier 76, a turreted up Bastion, a Hanzo, or a Widowmaker. All four of them hard counter Mei very, very easily. If you're Mei and they're out on the field, you have to watch your corners. You have to basically hide in little hallways where they're going to come to you, because if you go out in the open, they're going to kill you very, very quickly. Likewise, if you're a Soldier 76 and you hard counter Mei pretty hard, don't go into hallways where you know she might be. You want to stay out in the open. And you're going to find this throughout the whole game. Every single class has someone that hard counters them pretty darn hard. There are occasions where a well-played certain class using their ultimate and all their abilities can outplay who hard counters them, but there's going to be like a success rate where like Mei is going to beat Tracer 70% of the time. You know, is that exactly what it is? I don't know, but it is that type of thing. So the point being, don't go in just wanting to play one. You're going to end up frustrated. You're going to end up screaming on the forums about how OP somebody else is. Be willing to adjust. Realize that while Mei is very strong here, if you become a Pharah, well, her range can't hit you up in the sky. You can fly up into the sky and shoot rockets at her and knock her right out of the sky. If you're playing Mei and someone's shooting rockets from a Pharah at you, well, guess what? While Pharah's hovering in the air, she's a wide open target for Widowmaker. Well, Widowmaker can really devastate Pharah. She doesn't really have anything too strong to protect herself with. Be a Tracer or a Reaper, get right up behind her and kill her almost instantly. There's this round robin effect, and if you're willing to change, you'll probably have a lot more enjoyment out of this game than anything else. Alright, those were the two main points I wanted to cover that I think will help most people. I did want to discuss briefly, I talked momentarily about how it does have a certain MOBA element, and that's the way the teamwork comes together with the different heroes. So one of the big things I think that draws people to MOBAs, and maybe I'm completely wrong here though, but a MOBA is almost like the 5-man dungeon raid from World of Warcraft, EverQuest, whatever, where a team needs to play very well together. If one person's slacking, the whole team is going to fail, right? Overwatch has a certain element to this. The synergies of the different abilities within the heroes working together can do great things and become very, very powerful. And that's where kind of the MOBA-esque element comes in. For example, you have, let's take for effect, what's a good combination that I want to think about? Alright, you have Roadhog. He is a tank that has the ability to self-heal. He has a healing canister that can heal himself every so often for a decent amount. You have Symmetra. She's a support character. She's supposed to be basically a healer, but she actually has no healing abilities. What she can do is she can put up turrets, she can spawn a teleporter system to get people back to the front lines very quickly, and she can put armor on people. You have Soldier 76, or one of his abilities is he drops down this AoE heal ability. Well, Symmetra is generally a tougher support character to play because she doesn't have that direct heal that she can give to anyone. If you're taking damage, Symmetra doesn't do you much good other than she can throw a little more armor on you. Well, if you combine her with those previous two I mentioned, Roadhog, a tank that can heal himself, and a Soldier 76 that can throw down an AoE heal, when you put all that together, you get a very, very dangerous 3-person combo that can be very tough to overcome. It could be countered. I'd have to think off the top of my head here. Let's see. Reaper could probably get in there and counter it pretty quick. A Junkrat lobbing grenades in could overpower the healing of Soldier 76. And then some snipers onto Roadhog because he's a big lumbering guy. He doesn't move very fast and he doesn't have long range. Could counter this. But if you catch a team that's unaware, not ready, this 3-person combo plus then whatever else, you can throw a Genji in there and then maybe a Mei in there, can really do some real damage very, very quickly. There's a great synergy there among those characters. There's synergy between, I cannot remember her name, the healer that has the AoE res. She has a staff that can either heal or buff. She has a great synergy with Winston, because Winston can take quite a bit of damage, but when Winston enrages, uses his ultimate, she can buff his ultimate to where he's doing even more damage, and he is just a terror to deal with. there's these great synergies that are very MOBA-esque, but all done in a first-person shooter. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the MOBA element brought over to the game. Other than that, if you can't tell, I came away from the 48 hours I got to play extremely impressed. I had a lot of fun with just about everyone. I tried every class to some extent. I got to play some a lot more than others. I ended up playing a lot of the roller skater dude. Starts with an L. I can't remember his name. Brain fart. The Jamaican dude with the rollerblades and get down, plays the music. That's gonna annoy the crap out of me. I played a lot of him. There weren't too many people playing support, unfortunately. There were some people that would do it, but as soon as a team would spawn up, instantly 3 people would take the 3 best DPS that they wanted to play, and then the last 2 were like, well, are you going to be the tank or are you going to be the healer? All right, I'll be the tank, you'll be the healer. But I had a good time playing him. He was a lot of fun playing, and it was an odd healing class, because you don't actually do healing. Well, you do, but you just heal anybody around you. So I was a very aggressive healer. I would be right there behind the tank. If the tank was pushing forward, I'd be right behind him, shooting the guy in the face with my gun, and if we managed to push him towards the head, I was trying to launch him off. And as long as I was within range of my tank was getting healed. I was also a pretty durable healer, as Lucio. That was his name, Lucio. that was going to drive me nuts. Did they say his name started with an S? I don't know. Lucio. He was also fairly durable because you didn't have to stop to heal yourself. You were taking damage, you just continued to heal over time, and you had to get burst down pretty hard to die. You absolutely could, but the combination of your AoE heal plus you could change it over to a movement speed to escape made him relatively durable. It was surprisingly good. I also had a lot of fun with the tanks. The tanks almost entirely all have very short range. You got Reinhardt, hammer, very short range. Winston's arc gun, very short range. Zarya's little laser cannon, reasonably short range. She can lob the grenade with medium range. And then D.Va's range is a bit longer, but it's kind of spread and sporadic. But they're rather tanky, and they don't feel underpowered. Winston's maybe felt a little bit underpowered, like you'd have to shoot somebody with his arc cannon for a long time. But since it could arc out to like 3 targets at once, you didn't expect to do a whole lot of damage to the primary target, right? You don't want to. That would be a little overpowered if it went that way. So they were fun. You could do a lot of jumping around, a lot of damage. I played a lot of Soldier 76 also. I didn't particularly like Soldier 76, but he was damn effective. People didn't know quite how to counter him. He's going to be one that I think a lot of people find annoying at first. He can be pretty hard countered by a Mei that gets in close, but the Mei has to be tricky to get close to him. You need to know the map to get around a Soldier 76. If he sees you coming, he has enough ranged DPS, and he has his own AoE heal and a sprint to get away. He can be really hard. He can be very frustrating to take on. He's one of the ones that you have to keep an eye on. Maybe they need to tweak him a little bit here or there, but again, I didn't play enough of it to really see who hard counter Soldier 76 too much. I imagine a Reinhardt counters him pretty good. While his DPS is good, it's not good enough to burst through a Reinhardt shield. So a Reinhardt could just face him, walk towards him with the shield, and as Soldier 76, you either run away or you wait for it. You gotta do something. You're not gonna burst through that too quickly. What else did I take away? Overall, the performance of the game was really, really solid. It ran at a constant 60 or above. The game was smooth. Load times were good. We did have a few odd matchmaking issues, but I think this was because of the stress test. They were trying different things where you would load in and then it would be like, session failed to start. And then you'd have to wait another 30 seconds, then you get into a different session. The matchmaking was fairly good. There was one match where I think one of the veteran players was playing with someone that was brand new that they knew. So my team we were all level 8 through like 12. Fairly new. You start off at level 1, level 8 through 12 is where we were. We got matched up with a guy that was rank 74 or something ridiculous. He had been playing a huge amount of time. And that was kind of crazy, but I'm pretty sure he was in a party with somebody else and they got matched because of that. So, not a big deal. I had a blast. When it was over, I just wanted to continue playing. I wanted to play it more than I wanted to play Dark Souls 3, and I hadn't beat Dark Souls 3 yet. So that's kind of crazy. I'm really looking forward to it. So I think that about does it. It's 20 minutes of me rambling about Overwatch. Hopefully that helps you prepare for what to expect come next week. Just don't go in too locked in on one character. If you do, you're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna be frustrated. And hopefully that helps. Well, thanks for listening. Until next time, this has been Paler. Thanks for watching. I just repeated myself.